up, everyone? It's your girl Brain Shanae, and today I'll be sharing with you my September reading plans, aka my September TBR. So let's go ahead and get started with what I'll be reading. So I am going to be participating as well for 30 for 30. I am very excited. Last time, which I forget when it was, I think either February, April, I attempted to do 30 manga in 30 days and I failed. I think I might have done like maybe 20 or 22. I was close. So I'm going to try my best to get through at least 30 manga this month. Hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, we shall see. And then I have other books that I'm going to be reading as well. So the first book that I'm going to be reading in September is Into the Bright Open. This is by Sherry Dameline, and I'm looking really forward into reading this book. It's one of my anticipated reads of the year. This is a Secret Garden remix, and I'm really looking forward for that. I read Vinco by Sherry Dameline earlier this year with my members, and I loved her writing. Like it was just amazing. So I'm really looking forward to what she has to offer with this amazing book, and I just love the cover. So that's one of the books that I'll be reading in September. And then the next book that I'm going to be doing a book review for, which I'm really excited for because the cover is phenomenal, and that is Goddess Crown. This is by Shade Lapite. Hopefully I'm saying this right. And it says Girl Rebel Queen. And I'll be reading this in September, and I'm really looking forward to it. So for this, what it's about, it's in this thrilling Afro fantasy, the first set in the lush, opulent kingdom of Gala. A girl raised in secret must leave her sheltered royal home for the subtle danger of the royal court. So it says Colothia has grown up in the shadows of her kingdom, hidden away in the depths of a great forest after her parents were exposed as enemies of the king. Raised in this woodland idle but kindly caretakers, Colothia can hunt and fish and fend for herself, but has little first-hand knowledge of the outside world. When assassins attack her home on her 16th birthday, she must flee to the king's court in the capital city, a beautiful but lethal nest of poison, plots, and danger, overseen by an entrenched patriarchy. Guarded by the goddess herself, can Colothia navigate this most treacherous of places to find her own role? What if she must choose between her country and her heart? Excitement, romance, and a charismatic heroine shine in this first book set in the unforgettable kingdom of Gala, which I'm real looking forward for this. This sounds so good. And just look at the cover. It's giving. I love it. So this is another book that I'll be reading this month in September. Next book, this is the next book that Bree and I from Bree Shree Reads are going to be reading for our Zora Neale Hurston read along, and that is Serif on the Sawani. This is and I just love this cover, by the way. Like, I like the greens and the blues. I really love this a lot. So let's see what this one is about. I didn't read the synopsis for this one. It says Serif on the Sawani is a daring turn-of-the-century novel about two people at once deeply in love and deeply at odds. Convinced she'll never find true love, young Arve Henson deflects unwanted suitors through fits and professions of religious fervor. But when the enterprising Jim Meserve sets his sights on her, nothing can dissuade him from believing they are soulmates, not even Arve. Hurston deftly explores the evolution of a marriage full of love and a woman in search of her place in the world. So this is what Bree and I are going to be reading for this month. I'm really looking forward to this discussion when we have it. I think it's going to be a great time. So far, it's been a bumpy ride, like in a good way, because I feel like we're getting to know more about Zora as far as her as a person, her character, where she grew up. So I feel like as we are reading more and more books by Zora, I think we're getting to know more about her and her journey and what she went through, and you know how she grew up and her circumstances and her, you know, her relationships with men and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. This is going to be a very fun time to read. The next book that I'm be reading, which I'm also going to be doing a book review for, which I'm very excited to do. And this is Sign of the Slayer. This is by Sharina Harris. And of course, there's vampires in this one. So for this one, it says, high school is supposed to be about studying, socializing, and marching band practice, not fighting vampires. Then one night flipped my world inside out. Now my life sucks, but it isn't all bad. I'm at a Slayer Academy, learning things like the real origin of vamps and how to make serious weapons out of thin air. Every last one of them will pay for what they did. I'm doing great. Until I come face to face with the actual vampire prince, and I'm not sure of anything anymore. Vampires are supposed to be soul-sucking demons, but Kamari is something else. He's intelligent and reasonable, and he seems to know things about me that could change everything. He's also hiding something big, even from his own kind. And when a threat from an ancient evil is so extreme that a vampire will team up with a slayer to take it down, it isn't just my need for revenge that's at stake anymore. It's the whole damn world. So yes, I'm really looking forward to reading this. I love this cover. So I cannot wait to share my book review for this with you all. The next book, which I'm buddy reading with a few people, actually, especially people on my sprint, like Jira. We have Jira, we have Elise's, I think Tia, Bree from Bree Reads. There's a lot of us. Adrian from Sister Harlem, or Sister Harlem's Library. We have a few people. We have Mel. So I'm just gonna tag people that. Just tag them down below in the description. But yeah, we've been buddy reading, and I'm excited to get into this one, and that is The Veiled Throne by Ken Liu. This is the third book in the Dandelion series, it's chunky, y'all. It is chunky, but I'm excited to get into this one, so I'm going to be reading this as well. The next book is going to be Their Vicious Games. This is by Joelle Wellington. This came out in July, but I'm going to be reading it now, and this one is about, let's see, it says Ace of Spades meets Squid Game with a sprinkling of The Bachelor in this YA thriller debut everyone will be talking about. So I'm really excited to get into this. I might even do a book review for this, like particularly. So I'm not even going to read the synopsis. I'm really debating on doing a book review for this one. So I'll be reading this. And then the next book, which I also may do another book review for, and that is I Feed Her to the Beast, and the Beast is Me. This is by Jamison Shea. So here is this book, which I'm really excited to read this. Really am. It just looks really interesting, and I'm here for it. I'm excited, y'all. I am. So I'm not even gonna get into the synopsis because y'all gonna get a book review from me. I made up my mind. Y'all gonna get a book review from me, and I'm just gonna tell y'all all about this book. So I'm definitely gonna be reading this. Next book, this is gonna be for my members. We read the first book in August for this particular series. So now we're gonna be reading the second book this month in September, and that is Before They Are Hanged, and this is by Joe Abercrombie. I love this cover, but actually I just like blue and black are amazing. They go together. So we have this particular book, and I'm really looking forward to this one as well. It says this is the second novel in the widely popular First Law trilogy that started with The Blade itself from New York Times bestseller Joe Abercrombie. I'm really excited for this. This is gonna be so fun. But yeah, so this is for my members, and also if you would like to join us, please join us. We always have a live discussion at the beginning of the next following month, so you have that extra cushion, that extra wiggle room of that week to catch up if you would like to read it with us. But yes, so this is the next book that we're going to be reading, Before They Are Hanged. So here is that. The next book, which I've been highly anticipating since I've heard about its release, and I've been wanting to get to it since it was released, and I feel like this will be the perfect time to do so, and that is going to be All the Sinners Bleed. This is by S.A. Cosby. Love S.A. Cosby so much. Like, yeah, I already know this is going to be a good book for me. Like he's an auto-buy author for me. I don't know about y'all, but he is an auto-buy author for me. So for this book, it says a black sheriff, a serial killer, a small town ready to combust. Titus Crown is the first black sheriff in the history of Sharon County, Virginia. In recent decades, Sharon has had only 2 murders. After years of working as an FBI agent, Titus knows better than anyone that while his hometown might seem like a land of moonshine, cornbread, and honeysuckle, secrets always fester under the surface. Then a year to the day after Titus's election, a school teacher is killed by a former student, and the student is fatally shot by Titus's deputies. Those festering secrets are now out in the open and ready to tear the town apart. As Titus investigates the shootings, he unearths terrible crimes and a serial killer who has been hiding in plain sight, haunting the dirt lanes and woodland clearings of Sharon. With the killer's possible connections to a local church and the town's harrowing history weighing on him, Titus projects confidence about closing the case while concealing a painful secret from his own past. At the same time, he also has to contend with a far-right group that wants to hold a parade in celebration of the town's Confederate history. It says Sharon is Titan's home and his heart, but where faith and violence meet, there will be a reckoning. Powerful and unforgettable, All the Sinners Bleed confirms S.A. Cosby as one of the most muscular, distinctive, grab you by both ears voices in American crime fiction. So yeah, I'm here for it. Sound good. Cannot wait. And I love the cover, by the way. So I'll be reading this, All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. Next book, I've been reading this series throughout the year, and I'm finally getting into it, and the action is starting to happen. It's starting to occur. So I'm going to be reading the next book in the Throne of Glass series, and that is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, or Sarah Janet. And I'm really looking forward to reading this one. As I noticed, like within the series, the books get thicker and thicker, but for Sarah Janet, that is like a normal thing nowadays. So I don't mind it being thick. But anyways, I'm going to be reading this. And then next, we have manga for 30 for 30. So one of them is The Dragon King's Imperial Wrath, falling in love with the bookish princess of the Rat Clan. So this is volume 1. This recently just came out maybe a month or two ago. For some reason, I like rom-coms. I like manga with romance in it. I don't know what it is, but that's my niche for manga right at this moment. But yeah, so with this one, it says, Crouching Rat, Hidden Dragon. 13 clans rule the land, and the Rat Clan is the weakest. Ruyen, the princess of the Rat Clan, is summoned to the land of the dominating Dragon Clan, along with princesses from the other clans. The Dragon King seeks a bride, and they are all candidates. Yet, instead of vying for the Dragon King's favor, Ruyen takes refuge in the palace's enormous library, a place she can read to her heart's content. It's there that the Dragon King discovers her by chance, sparking an immediate connection that will change Ruyen's life forever. So yes, this is cute. Like they meet in a library and whatnot. I'm like, okay, I gotta read it. So I have this one. The next one, I've read volumes 1 and 2 already, and I'm hooked. And then knowing that it only has 5 volumes, I'm like, yeah, I gotta finish it. So I'll be reading Beauty and the Beast of Paradise Lost, volume 3. Volume 4 and volume 5. So I'll be finishing up this series. I love the first 2 volumes. I just think this is a nice little twist to like a Beauty and a Beast type of retelling and all that. So I found the first 2 volumes really fascinating. So I cannot wait to finish this series. So I'm going to be reading this for 30 for 30. Next that I'm going to be reading, I've been reading this series for a while, and volumes 8 and 9 just came out, so I'm looking forward to reading them. So I'll be reading the Apothecary Diaries volume 8 and also volume 9. And I'm really looking, this series is very intriguing. It keeps my attention. There's always something going on within each volume. So I'm here for it. So I'm also going to be reading these for 30 for 30. And also, I didn't get to read this last time for 30 for 30, so I want to read these 3 volumes for this time, because I know from Bree from Black Booktician, she had pretty much informed me about these, which I had no idea about. So I'm really looking forward to seeing like what it is about. Like it's been on my shelves, and I'm like, okay, I need to wait for 30 for 30 to come back around, because I gotta read these, especially since Bree recommended them. So I'm looking forward to reading these 3 volumes. It's only just 3. So here's the first volume, Lost Lad London. So this is the first volume. Here is the second volume. And last but not least, here is the third and final volume, I believe. So I'm really looking forward to reading this, and I know it's going to be great. Now, for these last 10 volumes that I'm going to be reading, these last 10 manga that I'm going to be reading are within the same series, because I'm really obsessed with this series now. So we have volumes 16 through 25 of Snow White with the red hair. Yes. I've read the first 15 already. And I gotta see what happens with Zen and Shirayuki, y'all. Like, I'm really obsessed, and I hope that they do a season 3 for the show. Because I really loved it, and I think that's what got me into wanting to read the manga, because I want to know what happens next regarding Shirayuki and Zen, and if they get married, or when they get married, or or whatever, just or when the world knows about them and they make it official about their relationship, how the prince met a herbalist, and she was running away from her home, and then they become a thing. Like, yeah, so I'm real looking forward to reading these. So yeah, this is the 10 that I'm going to be reading. Now, that's not 30 manga, but I do have some other ones that I'm looking forward to that I'm thinking about getting from my library. Just to see if I like the series and if I want to continue on reading it. But that is it. Those are all the mangas and all the books that I plan on reading in September. This is a very ambitious TBR for me. I'm not going to lie, especially I'm working a little bit more now, which I don't mind. I like making some money, you know, here and there. But I really want to get through these books because they've been on my radar. They've been on my shelves. It is about time that I pick them up. But that is it, y'all. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please, please, please give me a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell to be notified when I upload more videos in the future. But thank you all for watching, and I hope you all are staying healthy and staying safe. See ya.